Hi everyone, welcome to LengthPlo. In this video, we are going to discuss the bearing and distance. The bearing and distance are examples of applied knowledge of trigonometry. The navigation used on land, sea, or air was done using bearing. In this topic, we will learn how to use the bearing to calculate the distance or position of one place to another. The bearing can be defined as the angular relationship between two or more places. The four main directions are north, south, west, and east. The subdirections are northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. The angular relationship between two or more places can be expressed as a compass or three-digit notation. To solve any question on bearing and distances, you must use either the sine rule or the cosine rule. We've discussed that in the previous lessons. Note, n 30 degree east means that the direction is 30 degrees from the north towards the direction of the east. The bearing to a point is the angle measured in a clockwise direction from the north line. For example, the bearing of P from O is 65 degrees. The bearing of Q from O is 300 degrees. Note that the direction of P from O is 65 north to east, and the direction of Q from O is 60 degrees from north to west. A bearing is used to represent the direction of one point relative to another point. For example, the bearing of A from B is 65 degrees. The bearing of B from A is 245 degrees. Note that the three figures are used to give bearings. All bearings are measured in a horizontal plane. Let's try a few examples. A boat sails from a certain port in the direction 30 degrees north to west. After the boat has sailed 20 kilometers, how far is it west of the port? Solution: let the distance be x kilometers west of the port. Give this point an imaginary line to create an alternate angle. So from the triangle OBA, we have sine 30 degrees equal to x over 20. Make x the subject. Sine 30 degrees is equal to 1/2. So we have 20 times 1/2 equal to 10. The distance is 10 kilometers. The bearing of Q from P is 150 degrees, and the bearing of P from R is 15 degrees. If Q and R are 24 kilometers and 32 kilometers respectively from P, represent this information in a diagram. Calculate the distance between Q and R correct to two decimal places. The second one, or the third one, we have to find the bearing of Q from R correct to the nearest degree. Solution: from the question, it says that the bearing of Q from P is equal to 150 degrees. Draw this line. Name this point as point P. Place your protractor here. Point out 150 degrees. Draw a faint line across. The question says this line is 24 kilometers. Your book cannot take up 24 kilometers. Just represent it with an equivalent. So the next thing to do, from this point, draw this type of line and name it point Q. The question also says that the bearing of P from R is 15 degrees. Since the question did not specify the distance between Q and R, I can choose any point as my point R. Draw this type of lines. Place your protractor and point out 15 degrees. Draw a faint line to join it to point P. Label the line as 32 kilometers, and we are done with the diagram. Number 2, the first one they asked us to show the diagram. The second one is we are asked to calculate the distance between Q and R. From the diagram, name angles as A and B. Angle A is equal to 15 degrees. Alternate angles. Angle B is equal to 180 degrees minus 150 degrees equal to 30 degrees. I used the sum of angle on a straight line to get that value. That is, angle P is equal to 45 degree. Using the cosine rule, the distance QR will be obtained as QR square equal to 32 square plus 24 square minus 2 times 32 times 24 cos 45 degree. Solving all this, I have 513.884. Therefore, QR, we have QR square and we're asked to find QR. So we take the square root of the both sides. QR is equal to the square root of 513.884 equal to 22.67 kilometer. Let's go to the third one. The third question says, to find the bearing of Q from R, we need to find angle PQR using the sine rule as this. Impute the values available and cross multiply. The value of sine 45 is equal to 0.7071. So don't get confused. That's how I got this. Now make sine theta the subject and solve. We have this. But we only need the angle. So sine inverse of the answer, we have 86.52 degree. The bearing of Q from R is the sum of the bearing of P from R and the value of Q. That is 15 degree plus 86.52 degree is equal to 101.52 degree. And that will be all for this lesson. Let's meet again next time. Goodbye.